What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus Two Shots Dominguez, and with me, as always, it's Chris, the Stats Man Gorman. Hit him with the stats, Chris.
Hey. I actually have a stat that I found. I'm going to speak to the stat. Victor Wembanyama, he has blocked over 20% of his shots that he has defended. To put that in perspective, the next guy is 15% of his shots. So Wembanyama with the lanky arms blocking shots at a significantly high rate. For reference, Chet is at 12, Gobert's at 13%. So 21%, man. It's crazy.
Jeez.
That is a crazy stat. Well,
That's wild.
That's wild. He's an alien. And he's seeing red as the red wine. The Lawn Boss, Troy McCroskey. Get that joke.
Who's seeing red? I'm not.
You are. Oh, you're not. Well, we're about to see red. You're going to be angry red.
Oh, okay.
When we get into this later.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert for our topics. And of course, Adam, the professional runs. How are the levels tonight, Adam?
They are terrific.
You should. Translation is they're good enough, guys.
They're good enough, but I will make them terrific because that is my job.
Yes. He's the man, and that's why we love him. We love to have him on the show, cleaning us up, making us sound delicious. All right, we do have a very fun show tonight. We are going to do tiers. If you're, we don't have, or if you're watching this on YouTube, yeah, there we go. You'll see our tiers list is ready to go. Here we're going to do a teams tier. That's going to be fun. As we were hinting at before, we're going to do a little bit of Bulls talk. It's time to do it like a State of the Union. Where are we at? Obviously, the Zach LaVine rumors going around. Fans are not happy, and I think that's going to show. And then we'll finish it up with the IST, the in-season tournament bracket is now live. The Elite Eight, it's all ready to go, and we're excited to kind of see where that goes once it starts to go to elimination rounds. So, all right, without further ado, Chris, you got to set up here. What was your kind of idea here behind a team tier? I know Joey kind of gave us our tiers there. So what are you thinking?
Well, I think when we discussed this, Titus, you had the good idea of always having 5 rankings. The rankings we decided to go with is called contenders, and then hopefuls, play-ins, building, and try again. Which is a nice way of saying blow it up. Contenders and hopefuls, in my mind, felt like teams that if everything broke right, they could actually win the whole thing this year, and I wouldn't be that surprised.
I like that.
And then, play-ins, building, try again. That kind of self-explanatory. But I think as we go through this, we'll each have our own little definition of what we were thinking during these tiers.
Yeah, we can start there. Joey, what did you kind of make of the tiers? Kind of basically what Chris said. I know I had a little bit different interpretation. I can kind of go into
I think I was pretty close with Chris. I think for building, for me, was like they could be a play-in team. They could maybe be a hopeful, like if the cards fall right, but they're probably not, that high. But they have something on their team already that is like they can kind of like hang their hat on. Like they have an individual player, they have an identity, they have something that like they can continue to build around. So I think that might be my only slight distinction, but I think pretty much we're in the same boat here.
Okay, I might have to line up with you guys because I think I had a different interpretation towards the bottom. As usual, I had my own take on it. For me, the contenders tier was the teams I felt could win the title this season. Hopefuls along the line of what Chris said. If everything breaks right, I could see them winning the title, but not a team that I'm like, oh yeah, I think they're going to do it. And then I think maybe where I differed is I had playing teams as more of like the playoff solid teams. And then I kind of went with the building tier as the teams that I don't really know exactly what they were doing. And then the last tier, the try again, that was pretty easy, the blow it up team. So
I got 20 teams in my first 3 tiers.
20. That sounds about right.
Is that right for you guys?
That seems fair.
Because play-ins, like they're in the play. Like I took it literal, as in like they're in the play-in game.
Play-in. Yeah.
I've got 16. I've got 16 in my first 3 tiers, so I'm not far off.
I have 5, 10, 12, 14. So okay. I'm the lowest in my first 2 tiers.
This is great.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad. Actually, I have a couple more. 16. I have 16 too.
All right. See, we're good.
We're good. All right.
Let's do it. Let's put
Let's
him in
do
the
it.
brat. Let's put him in there.
All right. Let's start with those contenders. Joey, give us your first. Who was your first team in that contender tier? How many teams did you have in that tier? Let's start there.
I have 4 teams in that
Okay.
tier.
Chris?
Yeah, I had 4.
4. I had 2. All right. Let's go.
I had 2 from each conference. I had Nuggets and Timberwolves as contenders.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Here we
Okay.
go.
That's a spicy. That's a
take.
spicy take.
And then I also had Celtics and Bucks as well. So 2 from each conference.
Find there it is. So you said Nuggets and Timberwolves, and then who are the other 2?
Nuggets and Timberwolves and Celtics and Bucks.
Well, we can go ahead and move Minnesota down.
So I had Minnesota as my number 1 hopeful. I had them in my contenders. Then I'm like, and I just heard Titus going Homer, and I'm like, all right,
Homer,
fine. I will say my one contender that Joey did not mention is the Miami Heat.
Wow. Okay. No, that's not for me. The only 2 teams I had in my contenders tier are the Nuggets and the Celtics. I'm okay with the Bucks and like maybe the Sixers. But
Sixers? No.
Yeah, but I don't have them in my tier. There's the only team I would maybe be comfortable. The only 2 teams I actually think can win the title this year are the Nuggets and the Celtics. I'm soft launching my Celtics.
Man, you are pessimistic, Titus.
There's only 4 teams that could even possibly win it, man. In a given season, man.
Can I? I put the Timberwolves in there because Chris has talked about this at length too.
Yeah,
they are one of the better matchups for the Nuggets.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
I was kind of thinking like, if push comes to shove, you get in a 7-game series, always right. Like, there is a chance that the Timberwolves could upset the Nuggets. To me, that makes them a contender. Like,
sounded kind of hopeful to me.
No, like you wouldn't go into that series if they were playing in like the Western Conference Finals and say it's a slam dunk. The Nuggets are winning this series. Like, it's a sweep. It's over. Like, you could very easily talk yourself as of today in like a 7-game series with that one.
Okay.
So to me, like they would easily contend with the Nuggets. So to me, that makes them a contender in the Western Conference. Like, of all the teams in the West that might have a shot at like giving them some trouble, to me that was the one as of today.
Okay,
I agree with everything you said, and then I
can live with them in hopefuls.
They have no. I had to put them in hopeful because they haven't won a playoff series in 20 whatever years, and until they can do that, if they do that, then like next year we can be like, all right, hey, they're a contender. They won a couple rounds.
Yeah,
I think makes me believe.
I'm with Chris here. I think they're a season or 2 away from being a true contender. And that's kind of Chris kind of hit on a point there for me that kind of became one of my determining factors was playoff experience and sort of like how far teams have gone is maybe why I might have some teams higher than others. Because in my opinion, I'm like getting there is a bigger deal than I think it's often made out to be. Like, a team that hasn't won a playoff series yet isn't going to rattle off 4 straight playoff series wins.
And so, that's my argument for Miami Heat being a contender is their playoff pedigree. Where'd you guys have
That's
Miami
true.
ranked? I'm assuming hopefuls.
They are my number 1 hopeful.
They are in my B tier.
It seems a bit.
Your play-in tier?
Yeah, so I have a different interpretation of play-in. I'm okay with them in the hopeful with kind of what you guys are. They're to me they're a solid team, but they're not winning anything in my opinion. But that's just my opinion.
Interesting.
I'm not
every time I watch that team.
I
think who did they beat yesterday?
They lost the Bucks yesterday.
Oh no, they lost. They lost that game. That was a hell of a close game though, and Butler didn't even play. Jaime Jaquez is tight as your boy right there.
Yeah, he's
tearing it up.
Crazy. I might have been underranking Miami, and maybe a kind of a little bit hangover from last season's regular season where they just really weren't, a great team, and then had that great run to the finals. But I just don't think. I think they're kind of getting a little older, and I'm not too worried about them as being a serious threat to the Bucks or the Celtics.
It's interesting. Okay. Tice,
Next
let's
year?
go to you then. Let's talk
All
to
right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
you
talk
have
to me about
the
it.
fewest teams. You have the fewest teams. What do you have for hopefuls?
Okay,
This
so my
now right here.
hopefuls, and these are teams I felt that if things break right, that they can win the title. So my number one team in this tier was the Bucks. I had the Sixers next, then Warriors, Lakers, and Suns.
Okay, I have all those teams as well.
And
Yeah.
the Suns, if they're healthy, you know what I mean? It's another one of those things. Lakers, if they make some sort of a move and get another piece, they were just in the conference finals. They're not playing great this season, and there's definitely some issues, but it's very early on. And like I said, last year they were in the conference finals. Yeah, it was a sweep, but that's
Lakers are 4-0 in
awfully
the
close,
season, man. And that
Yeah, I
IST,
mean, they're already winning rings here.
they're a 1 seed. They're a 1 seed in that tourney.
And the Warriors, same thing. I feel like there's a trade on the horizon. Maybe get more into that during the Bulls talk. If they get their act together, Steph is still a top 5 player in the league right now. I'm comfortable with them and their pedigree. Like, I would be worried about them if they, let's say they get a matchup against Minnesota. That's a team where I'm like, Minnesota's a tough matchup for the Nuggets, but you know what I mean? Would the Warriors get them?
Series, yeah.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to put the Warriors in the play-in tier. I have them in the hopefuls as well.
Yeah.
But the way that team has been playing right now with Draymond kind of, hitting a new low.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
We'll I'm with you. I can see that. Like,
yeah, Steph's got the highest turnovers in his career. I think it's like 3.8 per game right now. It's kind of insane what he's been doing. And they're 8-10, so still early, but we'll see. Joey,
what do you think about this tier?
I also had the Kings in the hopefuls.
Okay.
I think they are quite hopeful.
You're very optimistic, Joey. I like it.
I also had the Thunder in the hopefuls. So
wow.
I ranked a couple of the young, upcoming, high-pace, single dominant player
where are the Thunder
teams pretty high. Just thinking, like, they've got a good record so far. They've shown some strides, right? I think they're, they made some noise last year, a little bit wrinkle in the play-in tournament, but I think they
won a game, right? In the play.
They did win a game. I don't know. They feel hopeful, and I kind of think same kind of like boat as Minnesota. Like they have a dominant player, which I think all these teams kind of in these two tiers have. Like you would identify one player who could take over a game, and the chips fall the right way. So plus they're just fun to watch, and I really like them. I really like Chet too. So
yeah, no, they're good.
Chet's great.
I was hopeful for them, so they became hopeful for me.
I mean, they're number 3 in net right now. So go ahead, Chris.
I had the Thunder. I can see Thunder and hopefuls. This was my number 1 play-in team. They have the highest point differential in the league right now in the West right now at 7.7. So I think they're worth hopeful. The Kings too. The Kings are good, man. I think if the Kings Warriors series happen again this year, if they match up in the playoffs, the Kings win. In my opinion. So I agree with that. My other team, I had 2 other teams in this tier. I didn't have the Thunder, but I had the Mavericks.
Okay.
And the Cavs. The Cavaliers have not been talked about, I feel like, at all.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know they've been missing a lot of guys and haven't been great. So.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell's been in and out of the lineup. Jared Allen had a late start to the season. The Mavericks, every time I watch them, they win. I've watched like a few games, but they've been playing bad teams. I think their strength of schedule is one of the lowest in the league right now. So I'm open to moving them as well. But it's just, what are you guys' thoughts on those 2 teams?
I think this is where the tiers kind of mess me up, because I go when I think of hope, they're hopeful they can win the title. I think of a team that is like on the cusp of potentially winning, like maybe Minnesota or the Sixers. But I don't see them as a play-in team. Like the Mavs, I'm not saying a play-in team, but like, are they a 6th seed maybe or 5th seed? That's kind of where I'm like, all right, they're not maybe true championship contender, but they're also not going to be, in a play-in game.
Yeah, well, I looked at the Cavs as like the Hawks from a few years ago, where like everything
Yeah.
broke right, and all of a sudden they're in the Eastern Conference Finals, winning a couple games, and it's like, wait, is this team about to go to the finals? That's my pie in the sky thing with the Cavaliers. The Mavericks
that does
too.
happen.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
Even if I'm looking at this, the Mavericks. I mean, it's just Luca. Luca is so
Just look-
he's so good, dude, with the ball, and he doesn't turn it over very well. He does. He has such a high usage. He turns it over, but
yeah, but
he's
he's.
so
I mean,
good.
him
He's
in his
so
playoff
crazy.
series. So, Joey, what do you think
Seriously.
about the Mavs or in the Cavs? Mavs and the Cavs.
Mavs
Mavs and
Cavs.
I think I'm okay maybe with the Mavs. I had the Cavs in the building tier.
Okay, see, that's an interesting one.
Okay, so I'll definitely move them down to play in.
Reason being, I think there's still the rumors kind of floating that like Donovan Mitchell isn't going to be there much longer, right? The Knicks are going to make a big push for him, and that like they were kind of expecting like immediate success and like being competitive. Like they were expecting to be a contender kind of right out the gate, and I don't know. Like because they're not being talked about, like I feel like outside of like that and them and Jared Allen and what's that other guy's name?
Evan Mobley.
Oh,
Evan
that guy.
Mobley.
Evan Mobley.
That guy. Yeah, that guy, Kevin. Right.
Yeah, Kevin Mobley. He's good.
Yeah,
Kevin.
Defensive player of the year. Got it.
I don't
Does he
know.
look like?
Like the Cavs don't seem hopeful to me yet. I feel like
Yeah, I'm
like,
with
they
you, Joey.
They haven't
Fair.
proven enough. I know Donovan Mitchell's good, but I feel like outside of that, like I mean, we've seen him in the playoffs and we've seen pretty lackluster performances out of him. So if he's your number one guy and we're basing kind of some of these tiers on playoff success, I don't think it quite fits. Mavs, I'm okay. Luka is dominant, and
Yeah,
if I'm arguing the Thunder because of Shea, I guess I have to argue the Mavs because of Luka.
that's fair.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Cool.
I'm good with this.
So who'd you have in your play-in tier then? Let's go with Chris. Did you have? I think we've all
Me?
done a tier.
I have so many teams. Let's not do me
Okay.
first.
All right, Joey. Who's in your play-in?
I had the Magic,
Okay.
the Pacers,
Yeah.
the Hawks, and the Pelicans.
Okay.
I originally had the Mavs there, but
I have all of
made it
these
from-
teams almost in this order too.
Okay.
That's
So
where I
you have
am.
the Magic. That's all. Okay. All right.
So in this tier for me, I kind of had two separate tiers within tiers. So I had Minnesota, Mavs, Heat, Kings, Knicks, and Cavs as like solid quality teams, and Cavs might have been a bit of a reach there. Solid quality teams that like your fan bases are happy, you're excited, this is maybe more my hopeful tier. Like you're hoping you could put together a run to the conference finals or a finals, but they're not teams that I'm considering could actually win the title. And then I had the Thunder, Magic, and Pacers as my three young teams that are have no playoff experience, so they're probably going to win maybe a playoff series if that this year, but that would be a nice thing for them. But they're all kind of young, upcoming. They've got a solid team. It's not just a piece or two. Like they're the next wave of teams coming, and that's kind of how I did this tier. But I can see differences here. We might have to. I think we can go with your guys' interpretation of it.
We might have to dig into your building for some of this because it sounds like we can all agree on the Pacers.
Yeah,
who have been awesome, and then the Magic. It sounds like those are.
Yeah.
Did you mention the Hawks too, or just the?
No, the Hawks were not in that tier.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all this. The Pacers have been awesome. Halliburton has been insane. Yeah. Paolo's taken another level. He's been awesome. It's kind of frustrating watching the Magic be good, considering what they had to trade. The other teams I added to this were the Rockets.
Okay.
The Knicks.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then this one's a stretch. I might move this one as the Nets. That was my 20th team. That was my 20th team. Michael Bridges has been awesome. I watched the Nets Raptors yesterday, like the last quarter. Yeah, it was brutal. So I maybe recency bias is making me want to put this team down. But the Knicks are awesome. The Knicks, I think they're oddly not being talked about.
Yeah,
Jalen Brunson's incredible. The Rockets have been awesome with Van Vliet. Dylan Brooks. Who'd have thought those would be the two best off-season signings so far, arguably those two. So and then the we didn't talk about the Pelicans. The Pelicans are just kind of there. What do we do with
Yeah,
them?
Yeah,
They're-
You know,
it feels right.
just felt right. Yeah.
they were a team, a team of basketball.
Anybody got these other three and try again?
No,
I have Atlanta in try again.
Atlanta. Okay.
Blow it up. You're not winning nothing. Just go ahead and let's just go ahead and get that done. They're not going to do it. There's a couple teams in my try it again tier that are not going to blow it up. But I like to be, and this is I go maybe go into our Bulls talk a little bit. I try to be a year early on this. Go ahead and blow it up. Atlanta.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think Atlanta stays. I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but because they're not going to do it.
Yeah, that's why it's kind of like
they're just going to be stuck there.
Yeah.
I think the Rockets and the Nets need to go down to building.
That's where I had him. I had him in.
And
Go ahead.
yeah, I think just the Rockets, like after being so bad and abysmal for as long as they were, like you can't tell me that. Like, yes, Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks have been great signings, but like no one's trusting those guys to like make you be consistent. I think like they're a year or two
That's
away
true.
from you know, just Jalen Green and Şengün continue at the pace that they're at. And if they kind of stay there, like to me, like you have pieces, right? You've got 4 or 5 guys that are identified as like, hey, this is a really solid team. They just need to kind of like keep it together and play a little bit more. And I think the same thing with the Nets, like outside of like Cam Thomas and Michael Bridges, like are you telling me like Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie are like, you know, guys you're going to count on? No, I think that's like you've got 2 guys that are like for sure building block pieces. Like you got Bridges, they've got a couple of young talent. Like you need another year or 2 to kind of like morph this team into like a kind of consistent piece, and you've got the right pieces to do that. So to me, like that's an actual building team.
You know, it's funny you mentioned building blocks and players on the Nets. Ben Simmons, dude, like
If you play,
he looked fine for like a few games, but his back,
games, and then,
is he ever gonna play again? Like
Probably
at an
not,
elite, not even an elite level, just at like a
playing
above
level.
average,
no, probably not.
like starter level. It's so insane his drop off of performance.
And that's why I had both these teams in that building tier 2 for me, because they were kind of confusing as to like what exactly are you doing, especially like the Rockets, where you have those younger guys, but then you have like the old vets, and it's like, okay, are you trying to win or are you trying to like develop your young talent? You know, is there a benefit to really being in the playoff, you know, play-in series, you know, kind of picture? Is that something that you really want as a team that's sort of rebuilding? They were kind of confusing. Same with like with the Nets, you know what I mean? What exactly are you doing after the super team breakup? And that's kind of where I lumped some of the teams into this category.
It's fair. I agree. Here, I'll start off building.
Okay. Keep it going.
I have 6 teams here. I'll mention 3 of them to start because I think these are the 3 you'll have as well. Both of you. The Spurs.
Yep.
Yes.
The Blazers.
Yep. Nice.
And which one should I pick here? I'm gonna the Jazz.
Okay, I had the Jazz too. Yes.
I have the Jazz too.
I also had Memphis.
I have Memphis.
Okay.
I did not have Memphis. I had Charlotte.
The other 2.
I had Charlotte.
I have Charlotte.
Charlotte, yes.
And you're gonna say the Pistons.
Yeah, I bet.
Yes, yes, I am.
Okay.
Those are my 6. Yeah.
Those are good. I think we actually kind of ended up
5,
agreeing on this tier, even though we kind of had different perspectives on it. I mean, Joey, did you have anything else different in this tier?
No, I think Memphis is down a tier.
No, man. That's too
And
And the try again. I didn't want to jump that far because like
no,
literally
see, I like to be a year
were
early.
early. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
come back
yeah.
around. No, I really have to see what Ja's going to do. The thing is, if Ja is that dude again, they have a number 1 talent. So
I feel like that team got
It
worse
did.
though. not just because Jaw's not playing, but because of the other pieces that they let go.
I agree. I think they're going to be worse anyways, right? Like,
Yeah, you might be right. I might be holding on to this one here. This is
I also
probably-
think the Blazers need to go down a notch. And I say that because Scoot has been extremely underwhelming and hurt. And you're basically paying Jeremy Grant as like a number one guy when he's like a 2A on like a good team, right? Like they kind of got themselves wrapped up, I think, in the whole thing of like, hey, if we pay some guys and they stay, maybe Dame stays and Dame stays happy. And that didn't happen. And now they kind of like they got Brogdon and stuff like, but DeAndre Ayton is terrible, right? Like that has.
That's true. I forgot about Ayton. Yeah,
DeAndre not
Phoenix is
to the line.
Yeah, Phoenix is extremely happy that they got rid of that, right? Like that guy's a joke. So to me, it's like you've got these guys that were supposed to be okay, and none of them are really okay. So should you probably try again? Yeah. Like, what are you building around in Portland right now?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think for me, because Scoot has been injured, I put them in the building because to me it's a wait and see. I agree with you. The Ayton,
they have a lot of trade pieces
Grant thing,
too.
yeah, they have a lot of pieces, but it feels like, in theory, they have their guy in Scoot, and I want to give him one full year. You know what I mean? Give him some time to kind of before I say they need to completely redo the team, because I think they are kind of redoing it. But
I thought you guys were gonna. I thought you guys were gonna push the Pistons out of here.
The Pistons are in my try again. I have the Pistons in try again
because the thing is they've got Cade, they've got Ozzie Thompson, and then there's names I could say, but there's nobody else that is really worth talking about, right?
Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Stewart,
Jaden Ivey,
Jalen Duran, who's solid. Too. They have solid guys. Nobody can shoot on this team except Bojan Bogdanovic, and they won't even give him up for 2 first-round picks allegedly last season. And now that guy's just wasting away in this team. They've lost 13 in a row. Maybe they're a try again team. Screw this team.
Yeah, their team.
I'm so mad because I actually was. I thought they'd be good. I had Cade as my most improved.
I'm okay moving Memphis down there too. Actually,
I don't think Pistons need to go down because, like,
okay,
are they actually going to try again though? Like if you were the GM of the Pistons, are you going to look at that and be like, yeah, this isn't going to work. I need to blow this all up and start over. No,
well, I think you blow up. I think you keep Ozzie and Kate. Well, I guess you do have building then. That's kind of
they are kind of in building
4 pieces,
right? Like you've got Thompson, Ivy, and Cunningham. Like you've got 3 pretty damn good pieces. You swap Ivy for Jalen Duran or whatever you want. Yeah. Like they've got pieces that they're going to build around.
They got some guys.
I think the thing with them, and I kind of where you kind of sold me on the Memphis thing. Like, are you really excited about Cade? Like, because where in my head, like Scoot is still kind of an unknown, and I think there's like I'm willing to give him the year or two. I feel like we've seen a little bit of Cade. Yeah, he's been great, he has moments, but like I'm kind of like I'm good on that. I would actually move Cade and try to get like, all right, let's get another piece to build around.
Really? They're kind of the same player though, right? Like Cade missed almost his entire first season.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like to me, this is his 3rd season now. In the league,
this is his 3rd year in the league.
3rd year.
That was a 2nd.
So to me, I mean, he missed the full year. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like enough of where I've seen enough of him. Where like you're talking about, this is 20 games for Scoot. You know what I mean? It's not like this is his 2nd season or 3rd season. He's had issues and
but the only thing on Scoot is that Scoot was supposed to be like, hey, I played in the G League,
NBA ready. Yeah,
like I was NBA ready. I came into this as like the surefire thing.
Yeah, and
he's getting outshined by a guy from Alabama that was involved in some pretty weird shit.
Yeah, no, I see your argument there.
I think if we could put the Grizzlies and try again, or the Blazers, I'll be happy here. I'll take one of them.
I think we should put all 3 of them and try again.
All
I think
3?
Blazers.
No, that's too much hate.
I think the Pistons,
Grizzlies. Let's put Grizzlies and try again.
Grizzlies. All right. We got to. All right,
because we got building blocks in the Blazers with Scoot and Ayton, even though they're like the weakest building blocks. They have so many trade pieces.
Yeah,
they have a lot. They have Robert Williams to trade. They have Malcolm Brogdon to trade. Jeremy Grant eventually will be a trade piece because he's still a talented player.
Yeah. All right.
I'll just move them like here. Well, let's not even talk about the Hornets. LaMelo got hurt again. I don't know if he's out for a while or what.
That's
it is,
another
but
team
just
where
limp off. That's just an annoying thing.
Yeah.
they have their piece, but
I guess Joey mentioned Brandon Miller, the weird Alabama guy, but yeah, Mark Williams, he's all right. Anyways, so yeah, the last four though, these try agains, I'm shocked. We all have like the same. These are my four.
Yeah, those are all.
Those are
I
my four.
have. What do we have here? All right. So I didn't originally have Memphis. I have two other teams in there. Yeah. I had Atlanta and I have Toronto.
Yeah, we've got the Raptors, all of us.
Oh, the Raptors. Oh, yeah, different logo. That's what I was looking at.
Yeah, Atlanta. I think the Raptors.
Oh, I have the.
I thought someone would
okay.
have the Clippers. Maybe.
No,
Titus, I actually thought you would be more optimistic on the Clippers for some reason. But
No, I was optimistic for a second when the Harden trade, and then I remember then they lost like 7 in a row, and I'm like, nope.
I think I'm
Terrible
pretty
team.
sure Paul George and Kawhi have played in every game this season.
Yep.
And got back to backs and everything. And
Fine.
they're still Kawhi will score 6 points and then Paul George will get 30 and then they'll flip flop the next game.
Yep.
It's kind of weird.
That's a
Try
blow it
again.
up. Try again. And the Bulls. Try again.
Easy enough.
Ooh.
I think we can then maybe spin it. It looks like it's going to be an OG long episode here. Spin this into our Bulls talk here. So we agree the Bulls are a try it again team, which is blow it up. Obviously, there's been rumors about Zach LaVine getting traded. Let's just go to you, Joey. Here, you're our resident Bulls diehard with the
He's
wine.
got his red.
He's got his red. How are you feeling about this? What are your thoughts? Where are you at?
Well, I guess for the first time in some time, I agree with both of you that this is time, right? And I've held on to this a lot longer than obviously most people because I wanted to see something, and I still do think that this team is better than what they've done.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work. And in the grand scheme of all of this, yes, Zach needs to be traded because that's one of your most valuable pieces probably in terms of future assets down the road, right? Caruso needs to be traded because that's your best asset in terms of probably immediate, return right now. DeMar should be traded because again, that's an immediate need. You're probably going to get some role players back in that one. And then Vooch, if you can find a sucker dumb enough that needs a center, maybe Memphis needs a backup center. We'll take that. That has to happen. And we just need to go back to the drawing board and start over. What concerns me the most about all of this is the front office has secretly signed Billy Donovan to an extension. They did. It was a secret deal.
That's true. Yeah,
midnight handshake deal. And I don't know if you guys remember, but Billy didn't re-sign his contract in Oklahoma City because he didn't want to be part of a rebuild.
Yeah.
So he jumped ship and he came to Chicago, which was supposed to be kind of, hey, let's go. But this guy, if he doesn't want to be parts of rebuilds and he wants to coach veteran teams, then he's just all around terrible coach because he's not even coaching this veteran team because you guys probably haven't watched a game in weeks because why would you?
Yes.
I have.
It's of games.
I've caught glimpses.
Yeah,
I've watched many and the amount of effort they've started, I think it was 3 or 4 games in the past week where they've been down by 20 points in the first quarter, first half kind of thing. And then they find their way back and it's oh, hey, we're back in this game. Then they end up losing by 7. But it's how does that not come across as a coaching problem? The players have clearly given up and the coach can't even get the players to kind of get on board. I'm waiting for Alex Caruso to break his own wrist so he doesn't have to play for them anymore. Zach LaVine's right foot hurts. Is that actually honest? I don't buy that for a second. That dude's fuck this. I'm out of here. You guys suck. DeMar is just shouting at people in Toronto. And then last night when they're getting blown out by the Celtics in their last playing tournament and the Celtics needed the point differential, Billy Donovan decided to get upset with Joe Mazzulla for fouling Andre Drummond and doing a hack of Drummond. And he decided, like, in the game to, like, say something about it. Hey, dipshit, why don't you just try to not be down by, like, 30 fucking points in the fucking, basketball game? Like, it's so mind-boggling, the things that, like, they're picking and choosing to care about and, like, picking and choosing to put effort towards. And you can send all 4 of those guys out of town tomorrow, and then you're going to be left with Patrick Williams, who has the confidence of, like, a slug at, like, a PetSmart, Kobe White, who honestly has been the brightest spot of the team, and that pains me to say, Dalen Terry, who's scared of his own shadow, Andre Drummond, who can't make a fucking layup from 2 feet away, Julian Phillips, who runs around like he's an excited little, I don't even know, weeble wobble. And then like, oh, wait a second, guys. Sorry. Lonzo Ball might be back next year. Let's just hang our hat on that. Like you guys laugh, but when you say this all together, like, what are you going to do? Like,
yeah, no, I'm laughing at the organization. That's what I'm laughing at.
Like, you're 7-8 years away at this point, and I don't even trust them to get it right in that time frame because they just don't seem like they have a plan, and the plan that they do have doesn't seem like it's well thought out in any way, shape, or form.
So it's an org issue.
Yeah,
it's a very Reinsdorf issue.
I'm honestly, I've been noodling a segment of where I pitch, or I ask you guys to help me find a new favorite team, because like I'm to the point with the Bulls, like kind of, and maybe this is how I can be a little bit more like divorced from it at times, is because like I just haven't cared about that. Like they're not doing anything that makes me go, yay Bulls, get excited about anything. None of it. You know what I mean? Like you said, Joey, if you do a complete teardown rebuild, they're not going to get that right either. So what's the point? But what's the point of this? What's the point of being not even mediocre? That's the other thing too. Like this team is, like Joey said, this team has the talent to be a decent team. They should be in the play-in mix.
It should be 500.
It should be 500. The fact that they're, third from the bottom in the Eastern Conference is dumb. And it's not even like, that's where I go, I don't know if it's Billy or the players, or it's just at this point, it's the whole thing is just bad. So nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to put any effort in. It's terrible. And the only way out of it is to just go, all right, complete reset. Hope you get somebody in the draft, and then start going from there. But
what's the last good decision that you can think of that the Bulls have made?
That's a good question. There's got to be.
I mean, like signing DeMar was probably good for that season. You know what I mean? In the long run, it wasn't, the best, but like they made a couple moves there that were solid.
Well.
Go ahead. I mean, I was gonna say Lonzo, and then that just sounded stupid coming.
That's what I was gonna say. Lonzo was a good signing.
Lonzo was a good signing. Yeah.
The Bulls, the optimist, the one last Bulls optimist, not me, somebody else. Would be like, hey, we had Lonzo.
So yeah,
he's just been hurt for 2 seasons. He didn't think he'd be hurt this long. He could barely get out of a chair. Well, he can, apparently he can get off the chair on 1 foot, right? But he can't play basketball for 2 years. Hey, if they just had Lonzo, this team would be a 1 seed in the East, and get bounced in the second round. They would win a playoff series.
I feel like the Lonzo, we don't have Lonzo, is turning into the 08 Celtics. We never lost with our full roster, a playoff series. You guys heard this? Those guys just talk about it for endlessly with it when they had all 5 of their guys. They haven't lost. That's what Lonzo is turning into. It's like we were a number 1 seed when we had Lonzo. If we, when we had a point guard, this team was legit, and that's what made it all work. And it's just turning to like, okay, but
you could have had Jalen Brunson.
Could have had something.
I just like there isn't like a surefire good decision that the Bulls have made that you can like think of like right away. Like snap your fingers, like, oh yeah, that was a no-brainer. They made that decision and it worked out. But Caruso? You can think of all the bad decisions. Oh, Caruso might actually be. That might be the right one.
That's the right.
That might be the right one. That is the right answer.
Signing Caruso. But even
there's a lot of bad ones.
Yeah. So I wanted to share this quote from No Dunks, our boy Skeets. Here's what he said, and this summed it up to me
Skeet,
perfectly.
skeet.
It's from their Monday episode. Here's the quote. Here's where the Bulls are at. We all know they just have to do something. They have to tear this down. They have to trade one of these, if not two of these, if not three of these big guys, because Zach LaVine and DeRozan and Vucevic were never good enough. And I like the way he said it, like they were never good enough. And I think that, like, going back to that year early thing, whatever, to me, when they just got absolutely waxed by Milwaukee in the one playoff series they made as this team, that was my sign of like, okay, I've seen enough, because there's no coming back from that. And I think ever since then, I mean, I know they didn't have Lonzo in that series. I was, whatever. And that was the whole hope for the next year was, all right, we're going to get Lonzo back, and then we'll be that team we were. But ever since just getting embarrassed like that, because they were never in that series, the series wasn't even close. Ever since then, they've never been right. And I think that was kind of like, I think it might have been their wake-up call, too, of understanding how far away they were. And I think, to me, that's what I mean about like that basketball trade. You have to see that and go, okay, that's the sign that this isn't going to work, because when you go up against the best team in the Eastern Conference, it's not even a competition. It's not even close. At least with like Minnesota, you could say, hey, they gave Denver a tough series. You know what I mean? Let's see what happens when they have their guys healthy. And yeah, maybe Jamal's not playing. Who knows? Maybe we get these guys. That's, to me, where you can be kind of hopeful and let's run it back another year or two, whatever. But when you're mostly there and you're like, all right, that wasn't good enough. It wasn't even close. You got to make a move.
It's fair. With all that being said, and I was just joking about it, but I kind of think it. I always think about it where if I just imagine the lineup of Lonzo, Caruso, LaVine, DeRozan, and Vooch.
Yeah.
Like, can that lineup win a playoff series? I feel like they can't beat the Bucks or the Celtics or the Heat or the Sixers, but they could be like number 5. I feel like that could be
Atlanta. They could be New York.
They could beat Atlanta. They could beat New York.
Yeah, so that's like a
Toronto.
matchup series. Yeah, if they, depending on their matchup, I think they could beat like a Philadelphia. Maybe not this Philadelphia, but Philadelphia's of past. They could have
Hardened Philadelphia.
Hardened Philadelphia. They could beat those guys. Boston and Milwaukee. No, of course not. But everybody else, maybe.
Yeah,
but. And I think I was on the, I don't want to be like I was right about it, but like I was the guy that said don't sign LaVine. I know there was no other option. There's nothing you could do, but it's just like, there was no point in signing him. And because this is what happens when you sign that guy. That's not the guy.
Well, the idea is he should be a trade piece, but is he more of a negative asset than a pot? Like,
to me, he is, because I just don't think they're going to be able to trade for much.
My take. So here, let's have. Maybe to close out this segment, let's Joe, you want, but like my question I want to ask you guys with this is who's going to get traded? Who's more likely to get traded? DeRozan and Caruso or Zach LaVine by the end of the season?
If I was
LaVine is most likely.
Yeah. If I was other teams, I would be calling nonstop about Caruso.
I think Caruso and DeRozan are going to get traded. I don't think LaVine's getting traded, because they want too much for LaVine, and but I think they'll actually part with. I mean that Twitter I sent you guys with.
Yeah, I say the plan apparently is to keep those guys.
Don't no, it's
so like a perfect example to me. This is the trade that should happen, and I actually, based on that tweet, I think it kind of makes sense for both teams. It's the Warriors trade. You trade Clay and like Kuminga or one of the young guys for Zach and Caruso. And you go, all right, you get your score that's taking place of Clay and you get your defender in Caruso. We get a guy that we can sell as being, another piece in Clay. Hey, a championship pedigree. Now we got a guy that's just a pure shooter, can, just clear the lane for DeMar and Vooch. We got that. And then we got a young piece in Kuminga or Moody, whatever, that is going to be our building block along with Pat and Kobe. And that's I don't think it's a great trade for the Bulls, but like if I'm the Warriors, I'm doing that in a heartbeat.
So if it's Moody, maybe a pick or two, maybe a
Yeah,
pick and a
pick.
pick swap, and then the Clay just to
Yeah,
have
it's a filler.
the contracts lineup.
Yeah.
I'd be open to that. I think.
Yeah. I would be.
Joey.
You guys want me to tell you what's actually going to happen?
Go ahead.
Here's what's going to happen. Bulls are going to trade Zach and DeMar wherever land they go. They're going to tell us that Caruso is the building block. He's a point guard and a defensive stalwart. They're going to do it. And
it's the dumbest thing they can do.
Because no one's going to take Vooch's trade, and there's no way this front office and Jerry is going to let this whole mess of players go and say we literally have nothing. They're not going to do it. They've never done it, right? And just my final thought is 7 years ago is when the Bulls decided to do a rebuild the last time, right? They traded Jimmy for Zach, and this is where it got us. So
that was 7 years ago.
We will see you guys in 2030.
What was that?
2030.
Was that a rebuild though?
Yeah, it absolutely was. It was a year after you sent Noah and Rose away. You kept Jimmy for like a year or 2 years, whatever it was. And then you decided Jimmy was not a piece anymore. And he was your last remaining piece from that kind of core. And and you had Markkanen, right? As you were saying, hey, we've got a young prospect and Markkanen. We've got
and we're getting Zach. Yeah.
Right. Bobby was still there, and we're getting this guy who was young, coming off an ACL. We think he's wildly talented and athletic.
See, and I guess maybe that's the difference to me. Like that to me is a retool, and I think that's what the Bulls do. They do a lot of retooling, where it's like because they had Lowry, they had some pieces here, and then you got a known commodity in Zach because he had already been in the dunk contest and been in the league for a couple of seasons. To me, a rebuild is going, all right, we want absolutely nobody, like you're saying, Joey, and just picks, and we're going to pick all our own guys, and we're going to build a culture, all that bullshit. That to me is what the Bulls haven't done. That's what I'm waiting for them to do. I don't really want them to do some sort of a half-ass thing, which is what I think you're right. It's going to be like, oh, we got Caruso and Williams and all these guys are, and yeah, Vooch we couldn't move Vooch, but whatever. He's the old guy to keep him around. But yeah, I want a full tear down to the studs type of deal. You
know what's going to happen? Joey's thing is going to happen, and then we're going to talk ourselves into Caruso for like a week or two. It's going to be like, oh, hey, he's actually doing pretty good. He's getting 3 steals a game, 8 assists. Alex Caruso, point guard 1.
This might be the season for me. If they don't do what I'm hoping they do.
Hey, come up to Minnesota, Titus. We can use some more fans. The team's pretty good.
They're a contender.
Next episode we can talk about it.
They're a contender.
People are talking on podcasts that they're a contender.
One person.
People on podcasts. Right. I've heard about
it. Done. I'm over it.
Wow.
I didn't even I'm not wearing anything about the Bulls. I didn't even.
No, just Joey tonight. Yeah, wow.
I didn't come up with a clever name around the Bulls. I just.
Oh my gosh! I didn't even know that. Yeah, this is.
I give up. I'm over
it. You didn't even do Clay. # Clay Splash Brothers.
# Clay.
I'm saying I want that trade to happen for the story alone.
Yeah, Washed Brothers. What?
The Wash Brothers.
Well, Washed Bro.
Golden State should do that shit, but whatever.
They should. They won't.
They won't. That's the dumbest shit. That's
what Warriors are going to write out this season. They're going to
do it either.
Clay's a legend. Oh, yeah. Fuck that guy, man. He sucks right now.
Clay would come to Chicago and he wouldn't play a game. He'd be like,
"That's the thing. He's
I'm not doing this." That dude would probably retire and then go play somewhere else. I feel like he's that kind of guy. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
I would love him even more for that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes, Clay. All right.
Bro, your spirit animal.
My spirit animal. Come on, Clay. I would just love it. Side note, because the teams that have been talked about, Miami was talked about too. As long as Hawkes is in it, I don't care. If Hawkes is there, I'm fine. We can do that.
Yeah, maybe Miami's probably going to be your team, Titus. You should just adopt Miami.
Ugh, no. Well, all right, we'll talk about this next week. This is a good segment for next week.
That's
good. Pick a new team.
Titus's new team.
Yeah, find a
new team. Because I want to be diehard. I want to be all in. All right. Our last thing tonight, we got the IST preview. We have a bracket, folks. So Monday night, it'll be the Celtics against the Pacers or at the Pacers. And then the Pelicans at Kings. And then the following night, Knicks at the Bucks, and Suns at the Lakers, with the winners playing Thursday, and then the championship is set for Saturday. So I do like that it's like all next week. Seems like the bracket's just boom done.
Yep.
What are you guys thoughts
All-Star
on
break.
this? Yeah, Chris. Yeah, what do you think, man? You like the bracket?
I was disappointed. The Timberwolves went 3-1, and they didn't make. I was like, wait, I thought they'd be in this, but it was only one team. The in their division, Sacramento went 4-0, so they got it. I like it though. I think it's good overall. I'm gonna make a prediction. I think we'll go around. I'm just gonna say my prediction. Who's gonna win it? I think it's gonna be Pacers versus the Lakers, and then I think the Pacers are gonna win it.
Dude, me and you both exactly the same.
Wow,
Identical.
I think this will be Lakers versus. Wow, you know what? It's gonna be Lakers versus Celtics. That's just gonna. The story's writing itself. They can.
That kind of makes sense.
They can say the greatest, storied histories in the the NBA. Lakers versus Celtics, and LeBron wants this. This is. I don't know why. I just feel like LeBron is like, I just want to win this first one because I want to own this thing, and I just feel like the Lakers are gonna win it, but I don't know if they're good enough. But
LeBron just wants another
Pacers, man. Halliburton, Miles Turner, they want this more.
They do want that. Yeah,
Halliburton's never won anything. He says he went to Iowa State. They never won. Yeah, so
he's about to get a taste of Boston though, so we'll see.
I think that's why I got both of these teams too. Like they seem like the two teams that actually care and actually want it. Like LeBron does seem like he really wants it, so he can have another title with an asterisk next to it.
For real, guy's got like one real title.
Wow, here we go.
There it is.
There it is. Not even the comeback because Draymond was out. So
yeah, right.
Oh yeah, it's because Draymond was out.
Wow, Titus.
It was just the first one against OKC.
Punching holes in all of his titles.
Yeah. And the Pacers, like you guys said, I think they actually care too. I will add, in our preseason picks, we couldn't be any further.
Who do we have here?
I had the Hawks, I think.
Titus,
Hawks,
you did. Titus had Oklahoma City against Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's still in it.
Milwaukee's in it. Oklahoma City was the first team eliminated, though, so that's a nod.
They were not into this.
Chris had Minnesota versus Atlanta, and I had the Mavs against Atlanta, and so we were all off there. But Titus, you did have the Bucks winning it, so you still have a team alive.
Technically still alive.
Chris had Minnesota, I had the Mavs. So
man, Bucks Lakers is going to be Bucks Lakers, Pacers Kings would be the ideal quarterfinal matchup, I think.
I mean, this couldn't have gone better for the NBA, right?
No, this is amazing.
No Dunk's talking about it, but they're spot on that they've got the big market, big names in this, and the Lakers and the Suns and Celtics and kind of the Bucks and New York. And then you've got these kind of up and coming teams with really exciting young talent. And if Zion's playing in this, you're putting out a pretty damn good product for your first run at this. And if these teams are going to play these games in these quarterfinals and semifinals like they played kind of to get through, I mean, except for the Lakers and Pacers who were through easily, these should be some absolute banger of games. These should be fantastic games.
I'm excited. This is where I think I'm going to be excited. The knockout rounds. The group play is too convoluted for me, and I'm I don't know what's important. This I know.
I like it. I'm excited.
One thing they should try to change with group play is have every team playing on those nights. That was my thing, where it's I think it was the Nets or the Raptors hadn't played a game yet, and there was already a team eliminated.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is weird. So. But overall, it's a net positive, I think. So, yeah.
I think condense the group stage a little bit, make it happen more together, and make it more of an event that they're going to do for the quarterfinals and whatever next week. But overall, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the floors, the jerseys, everything. The whole it's fun.
It is fun. I'm excited.
Go to Vegas? Should we go to Vegas? You guys want to go to Vegas next week?
Maybe.
I'm down. Yeah,
I was debating going to Indiana and watching Indiana. Celtics.
That's the most tightest line ever. Hey, you guys want to go to Vegas and see this fun? I was debating go to Indianapolis.
Let's go to Indiana. Only 3-hour drive.
Let's go to Indianapolis. Okay.
I'm thinking flight. Yeah, come on. Let's go to Indianapolis. Let's get in the elimination game in that house. Indiana on my list of teams to adopt.
That might be your team. Yeah,
I think that was the team I'm leaving.
This will be a fun. I'm excited for this segment.
I want to do pros and cons on which ones should be it. You know what I mean?
New team. This is good.
So All right.
The TNT segment next week.
TNT. Titus new
Ooh, that's
team.
good.
Ooh, yeah, TNT. Maybe we just make it a thing throughout the year. We try to find my new team if I can't find a team. I gotta
You
watch
adopt a
them,
team-
see if I like them.
You adopt a new team each week.
Yep, each
Yeah.
week, and I go, all right, because I'm kind of done with the Bulls. So
Chris and I just
Titus
have to
needs
give
a
a
team.
case, and whichever team he actually picks, we become the winner.
yeah, and then I start getting some gear, and I become that team's fan. So
Well, you got the Hawks jersey already, so
I mean, I could just roll it right in there. They're about to do a
Yeah.
rebuild. I told them to blow it up. So.
yeah, right. About to rebuild.
Just in time to get in. All right. Well, that is it for us tonight. Follow us on social media at the Box Out Boys. Slide on those DMs. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on YouTube and Spotify. We very much appreciate that. Happy Rap Day. And until next time, Box Out.